I was standing in my mother's living room watching red paint drip from my daughter's piano keys while my family laughed and filmed it. Luna stood frozen beside me, 9 years old, hands covering her mouth, tears streaming down her face. My nephew Maverick, 10 years old and holding an empty paint container, grinned at me like he'd just done something clever. Behind him, my sister-in-law Kinsley held up her phone, recording the whole thing. Laughing, "Oh my God, Maverick, you're so bad." My brother Aiden appeared next to her, looked at the destruction, and laughed too. Kids got creativity. 6 months of overtime. 6 months of double shifts at the warehouse, skipped lunches, sore backs, and steel-toed boots that smelled like cardboard. $1,600. All of it pooling in red acrylic across the keys of the Yamaha upright I'd saved for, dripping into the internal mechanisms, soaking into the wood, and felt hammers. My mother rushed in, saw the mess, and her face went pale. "Oh no! Oh, Maverick, what did you do?" But she wasn't angry. She was nervous, glancing between me and Aiden like she was already calculating damage control. Maverick shrugged. "I was just playing." Kinsley was still filming. "It's just an instrument. Don't be so dramatic, Sebastian. Things can be replaced." I stared at her, at the phone, at Aiden's grin, at Maverick already walking away, leaving red footprints on my mother's carpet. My mom touched my arm carefully. "Sebastian, I know you're upset, but accidents happen. We'll figure something out." Figure something out. Don't be dramatic. It's just an instrument. I looked down at Luna. She was staring at the destroyed piano, tears running silently down her face. She wasn't fighting anymore. She was defeated. And in that moment, something inside me broke. Or maybe it finally woke up. I took Luna's hand. "We're leaving." "Sebastian, come on," Aiden said. "Don't be like that." I didn't answer. I grabbed Luna's sheet music and walked toward the door. "You're being ridiculous," Kinsley called after us. "It's just a piano." I kept walking. Behind me, I heard my mother sigh. "He's always so sensitive." The door closed behind us, and Luna climbed into the back seat without a word. I gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. In the rearview mirror, I could see her reflection. My daughter, trying so hard not to cry anymore. My name is Sebastian. I'm 35 years old, and if there's one thing I've learned in this life, it's that being dependable is the fastest way to become invisible. I work as a warehouse supervisor at a distribution center. My back aches by Thursday. My hands smell like cardboard. I've worn the same steel-toed boots for 3 years. But the pay is steady, and steady is what my daughter needs. Luna is 9 years old with my late wife's brown eyes and a smile that makes the double shifts worth it. She plays piano like she's been doing it for decades, not just 2 years. Her teacher once told me that Luna had natural rhythm and emotional depth you can't teach. That's when I started saving for a real piano, not a keyboard, a real upright piano with weighted keys. I worked doubles, covered holidays, traded shifts until my manager joked that I lived at the warehouse. 2 weeks ago, I bought it. A beautiful Yamaha upright in polished mahogany. When Luna walked in that afternoon and saw it, she froze. Then she cried. Then she played for 3 hours straight. Her spring recital was in 2 weeks. But here's the thing about being dependable. People notice when you can do things. Then expecting turns into demanding, and demanding turns into entitlement. My brother Aiden is 32. He's never held a job for more than 8 months. He drives a brand new SUV, takes his family on vacation twice a year, and always wears designer sneakers. He does all this because I co-signed his car loan 2 years ago, and because I've been making his payments ever since. It started with one missed payment. He called, apologetic, promising he'd have it next month. The dealership started calling me, so I paid it. Then it happened again. Eventually, I just set up an auto transfer. Aiden stopped mentioning it. I stopped bringing it up. That wasn't all. His car insurance came out of my account, his gym membership, his streaming subscriptions, even his son's summer camp fees, little things that added up to nearly $800 a month. My mother never asked why I did it. She just smiled every time Aiden showed up in that SUV. There was this moment when I was 16. I'd saved for months to buy a used laptop for school. I needed it for my advanced placement classes. One day, my savings disappeared. Mom had taken it and given it to Aiden for his senior class trip. I never got it back. I used library computers all through high school while Aiden went to Florida. That was the first time I learned my role. I was the dependable one, the one who quietly sacrificed so the golden child could shine. 20 years later, nothing had changed. I drove us home in silence. Luna went to bed without dinner. She said she wasn't hungry. I sat on the couch where the piano should have been and stared at nothing. My phone buzzed. Aiden. Dude, Maverick feels bad. Can you just let it go? He's a kid. Let it go. Like the laptop money. Like 24 months of car payments. Like every silent erasure. I didn't respond. Another text from my mom. You embarrassed Aiden in front of Kinsley. Family is supposed to forgive. I set the phone down and closed my eyes. Behind my eyelids, I kept seeing Luna's face. That moment when she understood her joy didn't matter to them. I stood and walked to my filing cabinet. At the bottom was a thick folder labeled Aiden. I'd been organized about it. Every auto transfer had a confirmation email. Every insurance payment had a receipt. Every subscription. Every bill. I'd saved them all. I spread the contents across my bed. 2 years of car payments, $18,400. 2 years of car insurance, $3,200. Gym, streaming, miscellaneous, $4,800. Total, $26,400. $26,000 that could have been Luna's college fund. Gone into Aiden's lifestyle while he called me dramatic. I sat surrounded by papers, and something settled over me. Not anger, something colder, methodical. I opened my banking app. The auto transfer to Aiden's car loan was scheduled for Monday. $625. I canceled it. Then I opened my insurance portal. Aiden's SUV was listed under my policy. I removed it. Then subscriptions. His gym membership, canceled. Streaming services, canceled. Cloud storage, canceled. 15 minutes to dismantle 2 years of invisible support. I thought about Kinsley's phone recording the destruction, about Aiden's grin, about my mom calling me sensitive. I opened my laptop and created a new document titled Documentation. I documented everything: the laptop money at 16, the car loan, every payment, every subscription. Every time I'd been called dramatic when I expressed frustration. Dates, amounts, context, receipts, bank statements, emails where Aiden promised to pay me back soon. 3 hours later, it was past midnight. The document was 12 pages long. I saved it to my desktop and 3 cloud backups. Then I drafted an email to the car loan company requesting removal as cosigner due to primary borrower reliability issues. I didn't send it yet, just saved it as a draft. I did the same with Aiden's landlord, informing them I would no longer provide emergency rental assistance. My phone buzzed. Aiden again. Come on, man, don't ice me out. We're family. I finally replied. You're right. We are. Then I blocked his number. I went to bed with my phone on silent and my mind calm. For the first time in 20 years, I slept without the weight of being dependable. Monday arrived with an email notification. Car loan payment cancellation confirmed. I made Luna breakfast, drove her to school, went to work. My phone started buzzing around 10 a.m., 3 missed calls from Aiden, a text from my mom. Aiden says something's wrong with his car payment. Did you forget? I didn't respond. By lunch, 7 missed calls. By 2 p.m., a voicemail from Kinsley, her voice sharp. Sebastian, Aiden's dealership called. His payment bounced. Fix it today. I deleted it. At 4 p.m., Aiden left a message. Half panic, half anger. What the hell? The bank said you canceled the autopay. I have late fees now. This isn't funny. I saved the voicemail for documentation. That evening, I picked up Luna from aftercare. She was quiet, staring out the window. I told her we'd rent a piano for her recital. Can we get ice cream? She asked suddenly. Sure, baby. We stopped at the shop near our apartment. She ordered mint chocolate chip. I watched her eat slowly, like it was something to do with her hands. Dad? Yeah. Is it my fault Grandma's mad at you? My chest tightened. What makes you think that? She called. I answered your phone. She said you were being selfish and should apologize to Uncle Aiden. I took a slow breath. It's not your fault. None of this is. And Grandma's not mad. She's just used to things being a certain way. What way? The way where I fix everything and don't complain. She absorbed this, then nodded like she understood more than a 9-year-old should. That night, after she went to bed, I sat at my laptop and opened my email drafts. The message to the car loan company stared back at me. I hit send. Then I sent the one to Aiden's landlord. Then I logged into the insurance portal and submitted the formal removal request for Aiden's vehicle. Each click felt like cutting a rope, like watching someone fall who'd been standing on my shoulders for years. Tuesday morning brought more calls. I let them all go to voicemail. Aiden, the dealership is threatening repossession. Call me back now. Mom, Sebastian, please. Aiden's panicking. Just make the payment this once, and you two can talk. Kinsley, you're a petty, selfish person. Your brother needed that car for work interviews. Work interviews? Aiden hadn't had a job interview in 8 months. I deleted them all. Wednesday, the insurance company confirmed Aiden's SUV was no longer covered. Thursday, Aiden showed up at my apartment. I heard the pounding on my door. Around 7 p.m., Luna was doing homework at the kitchen table. She looked up, startled. Stay here, I said quietly. I opened the door. Aiden stood there, his face red, his expensive polo wrinkled. What is wrong with you? He spat. Nothing's wrong with me. The dealership is coming for my car tomorrow morning. Tomorrow? Because you decided to throw a tantrum over a stupid piano. A stupid piano? I repeated. Yes. Accidents happen, Sebastian. Maverick's a kid, but you're an adult acting like a child. How much do you think that piano cost, Aiden? He blinked. I don't know. A few hundred? $1,600, 6 months of overtime. But you wouldn't know about overtime, would you? His jaw tightened. So that's what this is about. Money. I would have helped pay for it if you'd asked. With what money? The money I've been giving you for 2 years? That was a loan. I was going to pay you back. When? I stepped closer. When were you going to pay me back, Aiden? After this month's car payment? After I covered your insurance again? After I paid for Maverick's next summer camp? He opened his mouth, closed it. I have it all documented, I said quietly. Every transfer, every payment, every subscription. $26,400 over 2 years. That's what being your brother has cost me. That's not fair. Family helps family. You're right. Family does help family. But I'm not your family. I'm your ATM. That's not true. Then why didn't you tell Maverick to apologize? Why didn't Kinsley delete that video? Why did Mom tell me not to be dramatic when my daughter's piano was destroyed? He had no answer. You have until Friday to figure out your car situation, I said. After that, it's not my problem anymore. I closed the door in his face. Inside, Luna stared at me with wide eyes. Is Uncle Aiden mad? Uncle Aiden is learning something he should have learned a long time ago. She thought about this, then went back to her homework. I sat down next to her, and for the first time in days, I felt something close to peace. Friday morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls. I didn't check the voicemails. I already knew what they'd say. At work, my manager pulled me aside around 11. "Sebastian, you've got someone in the parking lot asking for you. Says he's your brother. He looks pretty upset." I sighed. "I'll handle it." I walked out to the parking lot. Aiden stood next to his SUV, or rather, next to where his SUV had been. A tow truck was loading it onto the flatbed, the repo man checking paperwork. Aiden saw me and rushed over. "Stop this, please. Just tell them it's a mistake." "It's not a mistake. Sebastian, I need this car. How am I supposed to get to interviews? How is Kinsley supposed to take Maverick to school?" "The same way millions of people do. Figure it out." "You can't do this." "I already did." The repo man finished. The truck pulled away, Aiden's SUV disappearing down the street. Aiden stood there watching it go, his face pale. "Mom's going to hear about this," he said quietly. "I'm sure she will. She's going to be so disappointed in you." "She's been disappointed in me for 35 years, Aiden. I'm used to it." I turned and walked back inside, leaving him standing in the parking lot. Through the glass doors, I watched him pull out his phone, probably calling Mom, probably crying about how cruel I was being. I didn't care anymore. That evening, I took Luna to a piano rental shop. We picked out a decent upright, nothing like her Yamaha, but functional enough for her to practice for the recital. "It's not the same," she said sadly, running her fingers over the keys. "I know, baby, but you'll still play beautifully." She nodded, but the light in her eyes had dimmed. That night, after she went to bed, I got a call from an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. "Sebastian!" My mom's voice, tight and angry. "Hi, Mom!" "What have you done? Aiden's car was repossessed today. He called me sobbing." "Sobbing, Sebastian." I stopped making his payments. Those were his payments to make, not yours to stop. I was the co-signer. I've been making them for 2 years. I decided to stop. "Because of a piano? You're destroying your brother's life over a piano." "No, Mom. I'm stopping the destruction of my life to subsidize his." "That's selfish." "Maybe it is." Silence on the other end, then quieter. "I raised you better than this." "No, Mom. You raised me to be invisible, to be the backup plan, to sacrifice so Aiden could shine. You raised me to think that's what love looks like." "That's not true." "When I was 16, you took my laptop money for Aiden's trip. Do you remember that?" Another silence. "You never even asked me. You just took it. And when I was upset, you told me I was being selfish, that Aiden deserved opportunities. What about my opportunities, Mom?" "Sebastian, that was 20 years ago. And nothing's changed. Aiden destroyed Luna's piano. She cried. Your grandson destroyed something my daughter loved, and you told me not to be dramatic. Kinsley filmed it, Mom. She filmed it and laughed. It was an accident. Accidents get apologies. This got jokes." I could hear her breathing on the other end, struggling for words. "If you don't help Aiden," she finally said, "I don't know if I can forgive you." "Then don't." I hung up. My hands were shaking, not from fear, from something else. Liberation, maybe. I looked at my phone, at the blocked numbers, at the ignored voicemails, at the carefully documented evidence of 2 years of quiet exploitation, and I felt nothing but certainty. The next week was quiet. Too quiet. No calls from Aiden. No texts from Mom. No angry voicemails from Kinsley. It felt like standing in the eye of a storm, waiting for the walls to close in. Luna's recital was in 3 days. She practiced every evening on the rental piano, but something was missing. The joy, the light. She played mechanically, hitting all the right notes without any of the heart. On Tuesday evening, my doorbell rang. I checked the peephole. Mom stood outside, alone, looking smaller than I remembered. I opened the door. "Hi, Mom. Can I come in?" I stepped aside. She walked past me into the living room, glancing at the rental piano in the corner. That's not hers. No, hers was destroyed. She flinched, but didn't argue. She sat on the couch, hands folded in her lap. Aiden lost his job, she said quietly. He didn't have a job. He was doing deliveries, gig work. Without the car, he can't do that anymore. He's applied for unemployment, but it'll take weeks. I said nothing. Kinsley's parents are helping with rent this month, but they can't keep doing it. They're talking about moving in with me. Still, I said nothing. Sebastian, I came here to ask you to reconsider. Not for Aiden, for Maverick. He's just a boy. Maverick destroyed Luna's piano, and no one made him apologize. He's 10 years old, Mom. Old enough to know better. Children make mistakes, and parents teach consequences. You never taught Aiden consequences. You never made him apologize to me. Not for the laptop money, not for the 2 years of car payments, not for anything. And now Maverick's learning the same thing, that actions don't matter if you're the favorite. Mom's face crumpled. I never meant to make you feel that way. But you did, and you still are. You're not here because you care about how Luna feels. You're here because Aiden's uncomfortable. You've always chosen him, Mom. Always. That's not fair. Maybe not, but it's true. She stood, tears in her eyes. If you don't help him, he's going to lose everything. He already lost the one thing that mattered, my respect. She stared at me for a long moment, then walked to the door. Before leaving, she turned back. Your father would be ashamed of you. The words were meant to hurt, and they did, but not in the way she thought. Dad would have made Aiden get a job. Dad would have made him take responsibility. Dad would have made Maverick apologize. You know that, Mom. You've spent 8 years letting Aiden be the son Dad never got to see grow up, and you forgot I existed in the process. She left without another word. I closed the door and leaned against it, breathing slowly. In the kitchen, Luna appeared in her pajamas. Was that Grandma? Yeah? Is she mad at you because of me? I walked over and knelt in front of her. Listen to me. None of this is because of you. None of this is your fault. This is about me finally standing up for us, for you, for me, for the family we are. Just the two of us. She hugged me, her small arms tight around my neck. I don't need the piano, Dad. I just need you. I held her and felt something break open in my chest. All the years of being invisible, of sacrificing, of bending until I nearly broke, all of it had been to protect her, to give her better. And she already knew that. Saturday arrived, recital day. Luna wore a navy blue dress I'd bought her last month. She looked beautiful and terrified. You're going to do great, I told her in the car. What if I mess up? Then you mess up, but I'll be proud of you no matter what. We arrived at the community center early. The rental piano had been delivered that morning. It sat on stage, plain and forgettable, nothing like her Yamaha. Parents filled the seats. Luna stood backstage with the other kids, clutching her sheet music. I found a seat in the third row and waited. The recital began. One by one, children walked on stage, played their pieces, took their bows. Some were shaky, some were confident. All of them had parents who clapped and filmed and beamed with pride. Then it was Luna's turn. She walked on stage, so small next to the piano. She sat, adjusted the bench, and placed her hands on the keys. For a moment, she just sat there. I could see her breathing, centering herself. Then she began to play, the Chopin Nocturne, the same piece she'd been practicing for months. And despite everything, despite the destroyed piano and the silent weeks and the family chaos, she played it beautifully. Her fingers moved across the keys with precision and grace. The melody filled the room, delicate and heartbreaking. I watched her face, the concentration, the way she lost herself in the music. And I saw it, the joy returning. Not because of the piano, but because of the music itself. She finished. The room erupted in applause. She stood, bowed, and walked off stage. When she reached me in the hallway, I pulled her into a hug. You were perfect. I messed up twice. I didn't hear it. She smiled. A real smile. We were walking to the car when I heard a voice behind us. Sebastian! I turned. Aiden stood in the parking lot, looking haggard. Mom was with him, along with Kinsley and Maverick. We came to watch, Aiden said. We wanted to apologize. I looked at Maverick, who stood behind his mother, staring at the ground. Maverick has something to say, Kinsley prompted. The boy looked up, eyes reluctant. Sorry I ruined your piano. It wasn't sincere. It was forced. A performance for my benefit. Thank you for apologizing, Luna said quietly, her hand tight in mine. Aiden stepped forward. Sebastian, I've had a lot of time to think. You were right. I took advantage. I didn't appreciate what you did for me. I'm sorry. I studied his face. He looked genuine. Desperate, but genuine. I accept your apology, I said, but that doesn't mean things go back to how they were. I know. I'm not asking for that. I just wanted you to know that I understand now what I did, what we all did. Mom stepped forward, her eyes red. I'm sorry too, Sebastian, for making you feel invisible, for always choosing Aiden, for taking your laptop money all those years ago. I thought I was helping him grow, but I was just enabling him, and I was hurting you. Those words, after 35 years, cracked something in me. Thank you, I said quietly. We stood there in the parking lot, this broken family trying to figure out what came next. I'm not going to make your payments anymore, I said to Aiden. I'm not going to be your safety net. You need to build your own life. I know. And if you want to be in our lives, in Luna's life, things have to change. Real consequences, real apologies, real respect. He nodded. I understand. I looked at Mom. I'm not going to pretend the past didn't happen. But I'm willing to move forward if you are. On new terms. I'd like that, she whispered. Maverick shifted uncomfortably. I knelt down to his eye level. You owe Luna more than a forced apology, I said. You destroyed something she loved, something I worked very hard to give her. Do you understand that? He nodded, eyes downcast. If you want to make it right, you'll have to show her through your actions, not just words. Okay, he mumbled. I stood and took Luna's hand. We're going to get dinner, just the two of us. You're all welcome to think about what I said. I walked to my car, Luna beside me. As we pulled away, I glanced in the rearview mirror. My family stood in the parking lot, smaller and more uncertain than I'd ever seen them. And for the first time in my life, I felt free. 3 months later, Luna and I moved. Not far, just across town to a bigger 2-bedroom with better light and a parking spot that didn't require a fight. The living room was large enough for a real piano, and I'd been saving again. This time, no one knew about it. Aiden found work doing warehouse inventory. Not glamorous, but steady. He paid his own rent now, drove a used sedan he'd bought cash. He saw us every other Sunday for breakfast at the diner near our old apartment. We weren't close, but we were civil. He was trying. Mom visited once a month. She'd stopped making excuses for Aiden, stopped guilting me about family obligations. We talked about normal things, weather, Luna's school, her garden. She was learning to see me as a person, not a utility. Kinsley still didn't speak to me. That was fine. Maverick had written Luna a letter, an actual handwritten letter, apologizing for the piano. It was stilted and awkward, but it was something. Luna had accepted it with grace that made me proud. On a Saturday in early June, I picked up a package from the music store downtown. They'd been holding it for 2 weeks while I arranged delivery. The movers arrived at 10 a.m. I'd taken the day off. Luna was at a friend's house, clueless. By noon, the new piano sat in our living room. Not a Yamaha this time, A kawaii upright in black polish. Even better than the first. It cost $2,400. And I'd paid for every dollar myself with legitimate overtime. No secret sacrifices. No resentment attached to the keys. I texted Luna, "Come home, surprise waiting." She arrived 20 minutes later, her friend's mom dropping her off. She walked in, saw the piano, and froze. "Dad," she breathed, "it's yours!" She ran to it, hands hovering over the keys like she was afraid it might disappear. "Can I play it?" "It's your piano, baby. Play whenever you want." She sat down and began the Chopin Nocturne, the same piece from the recital. But this time the sound was richer, fuller. The kawaii sang in a way the rental never had. I stood in the doorway watching her play, and I thought about the past 3 months. About Aiden struggling but surviving. About Mom learning to apologize. About Luna's quiet strength through all of it. About the $26,000 I'd spent propping up someone else's life while neglecting my own. I'd never get that money back. But I'd gotten something more valuable. Boundaries, respect, peace. My phone buzzed. A text from Aiden. "Coffee next Sunday? My treat. Want to catch up?" I looked at the message. At the man who'd spent 2 years using me as an ATM, now offering to buy me a $4 coffee as if that balanced the scales. It didn't, but it was a start. I replied, "Sure, 10 a.m. I put my phone away and walked into the living room. Luna had switched to a new piece, something bright and complicated. Her fingers danced across the keys, confident and joyful. She looked up at me mid-phrase, grinning. "This one's perfect, Dad." "Yeah," I said quietly. "It really is." I sat on the couch, listening to her play. And for the first time in 35 years, I felt like I'd made the right choice. Not the easy choice, not the expected choice, but the right one. The choice to stop being invisible, to stop sacrificing in silence, to stop pretending that doormat was the same as dependable. I'd chosen my daughter. I'd chosen myself. And I'd let the people who took me for granted learn what life looked like without me holding them up. They were still standing, barely, on their own 2 feet. And I was finally free to live my own life. Outside, the afternoon sun filtered through the windows, warm and golden. Luna played on, lost in her music. And I sat there listening, thinking about the future instead of the past. A future where I wasn't the family ATM, where I wasn't invisible. A future where my daughter knew her worth, because I'd finally learned mine. And as the music filled our new home, I smiled, because this, right here, was what family was supposed to feel like. Not obligation, not sacrifice, not invisible martyrdom, just love, respect, and the sound of a piano played by a girl who knew she was worth every penny I'd ever spent on her. Because love without boundaries turns into servitude. And standing firm isn't cruelty, it's clarity. Our story has come to an end. If you've made it this far, how about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely. I've selected 2 other videos for you that I'm sure you'll enjoy. Feel free to click on them. I'll be waiting for you in the next story. See you soon.